Guys, welcome back to this tutorial. So to continue our work on waves, we're doing a relationship between frequency, lambda, and speed. So if you're new on this channel, new on this community, kindly hit the subscribe button so you enjoy more content on this channel and able to watch more other videos on this channel. So back to what we have on the board: relationship between frequency, lambda, and velocity. So looking at it, we have F. I call it here. It's called your frequency. So frequency, we have L, which is called lambda, in brackets wavelength. So for the next one, we have V, which is called your speed. Okay, let me show you the relationship. You know that from coming on a motion, we define velocity as the change of distance, displacement with time. So therefore means that, let's say your velocity is equals change in displacement with time. Okay, this was noted. And also, can therefore say that by breaking this thing down, can therefore say that V is equals to, or let me use the word, inversely proportional to 1 over t, that is the time, by making d the constant. Making d the constant. Make d the constant. We can never replace this d with lambda, that is wavelength. Wavelength, that means distance. We can never replace that. Say that V, let's take it here, V is equals to proportional to lambda over t. Therefore means by putting a constant, we can never say that where that is the constant, that is the constant, where lambda is a constant. So therefore means that V will now be equals to lambda over t. So that was how the first formula was got in question 1. So I've derived our formula. I said that V is equals to lambda over t. For the second one, you know that this thing is called your period, and period, or let me say frequency, is equals to 1 over period. That means the inverse of period will give us frequency. So back to this point, we can therefore say that V is equals to lambda over t. By breaking it, we can therefore say that V is equals to lambda times 1 over t, which is the period. So having known this, I tell you that 1 over t is for your frequency. That means we can input this frequency into this formula by saying that V is equals to this your lambda times 1 over t is your frequency. That means you can put frequency, that means V would therefore mean that V is equals to frequency times lambda. That's how the formula was gotten. That this is the second formula, formula 1. Formula 2, V is equals to lambda, or frequency lambda, they are the same thing. So that was how this formula was gotten. And note that sometimes you can replace this V with C, which speed of light can be used sometimes. So, and note that your V is equals to W over K. Let me prove it. Know that W is equals to 2 pi F, and K is equals to 2 pi F over lambda. So having known this, whenever you put this value to this formula by saying that V, which is the velocity or speed, is equals to your W is 2 pi F. So 2 pi f divided by k. Your k is 2 pi over lambda. When this sign changes to multiplication, the fraction will turn, will rotate. Therefore, means that we now have 2 pi f times lambda over 2 pi. 2 pi cancel 2 pi. So we can therefore say that v is now equals to, we have frequency and lambda, so frequency times lambda. These are now proof that what we got here is correct. So we got the same thing. So it's that we are still correct on this aspect. This is from practice question pertaining to what we have solved so far. Guys, this is a question pertaining to what we have solved so far. I mean, this is a formula I derived. So let's call here this question. Let's put here question 3. Question theory or formula 3. So in the question, the period of a vibration of a wave of wavelength 30 meters at a speed of 300 meters per second is dash. Look at the option. So for us to solve, let's look at the parameter in solution. Let's look at the parameters. From the first statement, the period of vibration of a wave of wavelengths, so wavelength which is lambda, the wavelength means lambda is 30 meters at the speed of 300 meters per second. So velocity is 300 meters per second. Okay. The period of vibration wave. Okay, that's not the period which is in seconds. So the period is still, we don't know. So looking at it, which formula are we going to use? We have lambda, velocity and time. The first formula, second formula, third formula. No, we have to use the first formula because it has velocity, relationship with velocity, lambda and the period. So what's to solve? Let's make the period formula by saying that speed is lambda over t. By multiplying, we have velocity times t, which is the period, will give us vt equals lambda. So get our t, that goes side by v. That goes side by v. V cancel what? So your t is equals to lambda over v. The value of lambda from the option is, from the question, is 30. So 30. Your velocity is 300. So let's solve. 0 cancel 0. So we have 3 divided by 30 will give us 0.1 seconds. But that's also look for the period, and period, the SI for period is seconds, which is time. So it's 0.1 seconds, which is option B. So option A is 0.1 seconds. It answers this question. So let's take another question on this video lesson. Okay guys, this question too. On this question, so I read the question. We say that a wave travels in a distance of 20 centimeters in 3 seconds. The distance between successive cross of the wave is 4 centimeters. What is the frequency of the wave? Bring out our parameters. From the question, a wave traveled a distance of 20 centimeters. That means your distance will therefore mean that 20 centimeters. Okay? In 3 seconds. That means your period is 3 seconds. That must be noted. Seconds. Okay? The distance between successive cross of the wave is 4. When you hear the distance between two successive adjacent cross or thrust, it means your wavelength, which is lambda. Translate that the lambda is what? Is 4 centimeters. Okay? Moving on. What is the frequency of the wave? That means the frequency we don't know. But the formula connecting frequency, velocity, or we call it speed, and lambda is this formula. But we have lambda, what we call frequency, but we don't have velocity. And remember, I said that velocity is equal to distance, distance over time. We have period, which is act as time. We have distance, which is displacement, as 20. You can therefore say that your v is equals to, what's your distance given 20, your time, which is the period, is 3. So divide 20 using the calculator. Let us say 20 divided by 3 will give us, that means your v velocity is equals to 6.666 approximately 7 meters per second. This is your value for velocity. We are not done yet. We have to look at the frequency. The frequency, from this formula can mean that from this formula, v equals frequency times lambda. To get our frequency, they are both said by lambda to make frequency the formula. So lambda cancel lambda, frequency therefore equals to v over lambda. What's your from the question? Yes was 6.6667 over, what's your lambda from the question? 4. So using a calculator to solve this, it will be 6.66667 divided by 4. We end up having as our frequency, to be 1.666 approximately. Let's approximate to be 7 s. Then for frequency s, which is option, I think option B, because it was approximated to 3 figures, which will be 1.667. So option B is answer to this question. So let's take another question pertaining to this video lesson. This question theory. On question theory, I read the question. A boat and hatchet is rotated by waves whose cross are 100 meters apart and whose velocity is 25 meters per second. At what interval do the wave cross reach the boat? So from this question, let's make a parameter. Let's write solution to this question be given, and a boat and architect is rotated by waves whose cross are. I said that when you get two successive thrusts or adjacent thrust or cross or thrust, it means that word or the value being given there means your wavelength. That means your thrust or thrust is what? 100 meters. That means your wavelength is 100 meters apart, and whose velocity, your v, which is your speed or velocity, is 25 meters per second. At what interval do the wave? When you hear the word interval, it means time, which should be period or no. So the formula we want to use to solve this was given earlier, which I told you that which this formula to solve this kind of problem, because this is the formula connecting velocity, lambda and time, which is this. But therefore say that v is equals to lambda over t. We have to look for t, so let's first multiply. So t times v, which is period times velocity or speed, is equals to 1 times lambda plus lambda. So we're looking for period. That goes by v. So v cancel v. Your period will therefore equals to lambda over velocity. What's your lambda? Your lambda is 100. To period is 100 divided by, because your v is 2.5. That's 5. So can I say that your period is equals to 100 divided by 25 will give us 4, and the SI unit for period is seconds. That means the answer to this question, your period is 4 seconds. So is the answer to this question, which is option C. The answer to this question. So if you find this video helpful and impartative, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section. Like this video. Don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to share this video out to people who need it. Thank you for watching.